Hello. In 5 minutes, I want to present a general overview of the fleet market in Latin America. That is to say, the trend of the car market, and in particular, the corporate segment, the presentation of the major leasing companies operating in the continent, and some information on telematic developments. The recovery of the car market has gone on again in 2024 with 8% growth. But with a total of 5.8 million of registration, it is still remaining below 2019, the latest year before COVID. Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia were growing quite well at 10%. Argentina was flat, and Colombia and Ecuador were negative. Electric car registration continued to develop to achieve 185,000 cars, which is 3.2% of total sales, a low percentage if compared to Europe and China. Of this 5.8 million cars, corporate sales represent 1.6 million cars, which is 30%. Full service leasing represents a substantial portion of true corporate sales with a total of 500,000 cars financed. If we look in details at national level, all 4 main markets of the continent, Brazil, Mexico, Chile, and Colombia, present a similar structure with about 10% of registration financed through full service leasing. In Argentina, there is almost no financing due to inflation and high interest rate, but this might change in the near future. The market is rather concentrated, with the first 10 companies representing more than 900,000 cars, 60% of the market. Total leasing portfolios are 1.5 million cars, the largest being Localiza, born 50 years ago in Brazil, expanding in Colombia and Mexico. Together with Movida and LM, Volkswagen, and Unidas, they lead the Brazilian market with a specific business model which combines short-term and long-term. Colombian and Chilean markets are very similar to the Brazilian one, where local giants dominate the market. Rent in Colombia, for instance, represents more than 50% in Colombia. In Mexico, the market is different, dominated by international, worldwide leaders, Element and Avance. This year, I was willing to add a few information on telematic industry, as it is growing very quickly and going through mergers and acquisition. There are still hundreds of small structures, but we can still see the emergence of strong leaders. It is worth mentioning that we have a lot of different businesses due to the complexity of architectures, the numerous potential applications, and prices per connected cars as a result. It can go from a few euros to close to 100. There are some majors with more than 1 million cars connected or $100 million annual turnover. In that category, we have likely no more than 10 providers, like Geotab, Samsara, Ituran, Powerfleet. We can also mention cameras and companies like Lytix, which is a market leader in cameras. In synthesis, what I would say, Latin America represents 6 million car market, where corporates and leasing are growing and innovating quickly. The fleet business represents approximately 1.5 million cars. The priorities are control cost, improve security, infrastructure and driver behavior, greenification, in that order, likely. Thank you very much.